Let's begin essential words for the IELTS, and today we're looking at bird migration. So words, look at the following words as you read the passage, match each words with its correct definition. So we're going to see words related to bird migration, right? A common topic in the IELTS. So total words that we are learning are 20 words, and with that we'll learn some parallel extra words as well. So until here. All the words visible, right? So we have the words here: aspect, breed, diurnal. Look at the word here: diurnal, endure, evolve, fascinate, feat, fuel, hemisphere, imperative, inhabit, migration, navigation, nocturnal, observer, obscure, optimal, species, stray, and windswept. So I'm going to give you some basic rough meaning, and then we will be matching it with the exact meaning. Aspect etle pehlu. Breed means jati, like dogs ki breed hoti hai. Diurnal. So diurnal could be related to night, din. यानी there is nocturnal, यानी रात का प्राणी और दिन का प्राणी. दिन का हो उसको बोलते हैं diurnal. What is it? Diurnal. एंड्योर मीन सहन करना, इवॉल्व यानी सुधरना, आगे बढ़ना, यानी जब हम स्पीसीज जैसे जैसे आगे टाइम के साथ आगे बढ़ते तो वो इवॉल्व होते हैं, विकसित होना, राइट. फैसिनेट यानी प्रभावित करना, फीट यानी कर्तव्य, फ्यूल यानी ईंधन, यानी कुछ करने के लिए जो एनर्जी चाहिए, जैसे पेट्रोल, डीजल, दीज आर ऑल पार्ट सोर्सेज ऑफ फ्यूल. हेमिस्फीयर इज लाइक टॉक्स अबाउट द ग्लोब. इंपरेटिव मीन्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इनहेबिट यानी कोई जगह पे रहना, कहीं पे आप समावेश करते हो, उसको बोलते हैं इनहेबिट. नेक्स्ट इज माइग्रेशन यानी एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पे ट्रैवल करना. नेविगेशन यानी खुद का रास्ता ढूंढना. नॉक्टर्नल जो मैंने अभी बताया वो यानी रात का, जो प्राणी या पक्षी रात को एक्टिव होता है उसको बोलते हैं नॉक्टर्नल एनिमल और बर्ड. ऑब्जर्वर जो ऑब्जर्व करता है. ऑब्स्क्योर यानी गुमना, जिसको किसी को उसके बारे में पता नहीं है, खोया हुआ है, कहीं पे खोया हुआ है, दैट इज ऑब्स्क्योर. ऑप्टिमल यानी सबसे जो अच्छा है, बेस्ट है, दैट इज ऑप्टिमल. लाइक उसके लिए, प्राणी के लिए उसके रहने की जो जगह है, तो सबसे अच्छी जगह कौन सी है, दैट इज द ऑप्टिमल हैबिटेट. स्पीसीज अगेन इट इज लाइक प्रजाति. स्ट्रे यानी जो छूटा हुआ, जो कहीं पे खो गया है, स्ट्रे है, उसका कोई अता पता नहीं है. एंड विंडस्वेप्ट यानी ऐसी चीज जो हवा में खुली है, यानी कि उसके ऊपर बहुत सारी हवा पवन लगता है और उसको कोई प्रोटेक्शन नहीं है हवा का, दैट इज कॉल्ड विंडस्वेप्ट. सो नाउ वी हैव द रफ मीनिंग. Now we will be matching them with the exact meaning. So first one, aspect. You guys tell me. A to T. Tell me the words. What is aspect? Anyone? Aspect is D. Part or feature. What is your favorite aspect? Means what is your favorite feature? Second one, breed. Anyone? As a verb, समझ लीजिए verb यानी बच्चे देना, बच्चे पैदा करना, that is breeding. So answer is L. To reproduce. Breed means to reproduce. Diurnal अभी मैंने आपको बताया. What is the answer? 30 people, nobody is active. Correct. Anyone?
Sir, M.
M or I? I, right? Active during the day, यानी दिन का प्राणी, that is diurnal. Endure, सहन करना. Endure is here, the meaning is to live under difficult condition. यानी जैसे ठंडी में रहना, बारिश में रहना, तो you are enduring it. What you are saying? Enduring. जैसे कोई प्राणी है जो गर्मी सहन करता है, then he endures the heat, endure the sun. And then evolve यानी सुधरना. So here it is, to develop gradually. See, my rough meanings will be almost similar to the actual meaning. Fascinate. What is fascinate? To interest greatly, That is fascinate. It fascinates me. Feat. Feat is J. A difficult act or achievement. So that is a feat. Okay, next one. What is fuel? Very good. Fuel is to provide energy. So that is G. What is hemisphere?
S.
S. Very good. Right. The half of the earth, also one half of a sphere, that is called hemisphere. तो हम northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere बोलते हैं. 10th one is imperative. Imperative यानी बहुत जरूरी. The answer is C. It is priority and an urgent need. It is an imperative. Inhabit. Answer is H.
H.
To live in, कहीं पे रहना is inhabit. Migration. Anyone?
K.
Right. Movement from one place to another. Very nice. What about navigation?
R.
R. Yes. Finding the way from one place to another. What is nocturnal? Now here it is. Nocturnal means active at night. जो रात का है, that is active at night. What is observer?
F.
A person who watches something. So we have the word called bird observer. यानी जो पक्षियों को observe करते हैं, उनके behavior को study करते हैं. Obscure. What is obscure?
Q.
O. O. Obscure is O. To make difficult to see. That is obscure. And मैंने जो बोला था meaning था गुमनाम, जो किसी को पता नहीं है. That is unknown, is also obscure. 17th one, optimal. As I said again, optimal condition. Best and most favorable. That is optimal. Optimal condition. Species.
A.
Right. Type, a basic group in biological classification. STRAY, stray. What is stray?
P.
P, right. To leave the correct route, सही रास्ते से गुमराह हो जाना, खो जाना, become separated from the group. And last one, windswept.
N.
N, right? Unprotected from the wind. Are we clear with all the words? Yes. So let's use them in today's lesson here. Okay, so here we have a small reading passage, bird migration. So let's understand what it says. Migration is the regular movement of animals between the breeding grounds. Breeding यानी जहाँ पे वो reproduce करते हैं, वो एक जगह से दूसरे जगह पे जाते हैं. The areas that they inhabit, यानी जहाँ पे रहते हैं during the rest of the year. यानी एक जगह पे वो लोग ब्रीडिंग के लिए जाते हैं, यानी बच्चे पैदा करने के लिए, क्योंकि वो जगह उनके लिए क्लाइमेट के हिसाब से कंफर्टेबल रहती है, where they can give birth to their children and when they can find food. But for living conditions, again, they go back to the place where they live. Many types of birds migrate, but bird migration, many types of animals migrate, but bird migration in particular has fascinated observers for centuries. यानी लोगों जो लोग उनको study करते हैं, they're fascinated by it. Migration is an excellent example of how nature has responded to the biological imperative. What is imperative? It is a biological urgent need for species to evolve, species को आगे survive और बढ़ने के लिए, and spread out into all possible ecological niches. Niches means specific areas that can provide the conditions necessary for species to breed and raise young ones. तो वो birds क्यों migrate करते हैं? जिससे वो उनकी प्रजाति को आगे बढ़ा सके और उनको अच्छा breeding ground भी मिले और बच्चों को बड़ा कर सके. The most common form of bird migration involves traveling. Now, if it is British English, then it will have double L. Remember, traveling. It is written here. British English will have double L. So in India, when you are writing traveling, don't use single L. It will always be double L. Involves traveling to higher latitude. वो height पे जाते हैं to breed during the warmer seasons. वहाँ पे क्या जाते हैं? गर्मियों में जाते हैं, and then return to lower latitudes during the non-breeding period. This form of migration allows birds to breed in areas that provide optimal, means the best suitable conditions for nesting and feeding their young. बच्चों को खिलाने के लिए, बच्चों की परवरिश करने के लिए जो जगह सही रहती है. Because of the way in which the continents are situated on Earth, जिस तरह से Earth बना हुआ है, migration of this type takes place primarily into the northern latitudes of higher latitudes of the northern hemisphere. On the northern side of the globe, it takes place. No land birds are known to migrate into the higher latitudes of the southern hemisphere. Only species of seabirds migrate to the southern hemisphere to breed. Although most bird migration takes place between the lower and higher latitude of the northern hemisphere, many species are trans-equatorial. What is it? Trans-equatorial. So they travel through the equator, living on the northern hemisphere during the breeding season and in the southern hemisphere during the remainder of the year, which they travel the whole part. A well-known example of trans-equatorial migration is the Arctic tern. This is a small bird that is an Arctic tern. This tern, which breeds in the Arctic regions, वो ठंडियों में बर्फीले जगहों पे breeding करता है, and winters in Arctic waters, travels 24,000 miles a year during the migration. Not all migration is long distance. कुछ प्राणी छोटा भी करते हैं. Some species exhibit altitudinal migration. Altitudinal is they just change their altitude, height change कर देते हैं. The breeding areas are in higher elevation. वो breeding करते हैं वो height पे करते हैं, near or at the peaks of mountain. यानी एकदम नजदीक में लेकिन वो height पे चले जाते हैं. And they spend the non-breeding season in neighboring valleys. नीचे उतर जाते हैं or other nearby low country. This variety of migration is typical of many grouse species. What is it? Grouse species, including the ptarmigan. Ptarmigan, a type of Arctic grouse. The grouse is a type of a bird. Now we don't know this word, but when we are reading it in context, तो यहाँ पे ऐसे वर्ड्स रीडिंग में कई बार आएंगे जिसका मीनिंग हमने पहली बार पढ़ा. तो यानी we just have to guess कि okay, it is a type of a bird, because that is what the context is helping you understand. What is context? Context is the situation. कई बार situation को समझ के आप समझ सकते हैं कि what is the thing. Many rock ptarmigan, it is Ptarmigan, ptarmigan, never leave the high Arctic tundra. वो कभी भी वो जगह को नहीं छोड़ते हैं. Spending their breeding season atop windswept Arctic peaks. कहाँ पे spend करते हैं वो लोग? Spending their breeding season atop windswept. What is windswept? Unprotected Arctic peaks. And the winter season in nearby valleys, enduring some of the coldest conditions on Earth. During migration, most birds fly for a limited period each day. बहुत कम time के लिए वो लोग उड़ते हैं. Probably about 6 to 8 hours. Typically flying distances of several hundred miles. Some birds, however, undertake much longer flights. लंबी journey करते हैं when their routes include crossing large bodies of water. यानी if they have to travel the sea, right? Or other geographic features such as deserts and mountains. That is when they travel a lot. For example, many species regularly cross the Gulf of Mexico, a trip that requires a continuous flight of more than 1,000 miles. So in kilometers, it is more than 2,000 kilometers, and takes from 24 to 36 hours or longer. This is the duration they fly non-stop. An extreme example of non-stop bird migration is done by here something is there which is not printed, miles from Alaska to New Zealand each year. At the start of its trip, about 55% of its body is made up of fat to fuel this amazing journey. How birds migrate to unerringly. Now this word is very nice here, air. So E-I-E-R-R. Look at the word here, air. एयर का मीनिंग होता है गलती करना. इसमें से हमें वर्ड मिलता है एरर. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग हियर? एरर. तो error comes means mistake. Unerring यानी गलती किए बिना, without committing a mistake. So how birds manage without committing a mistake, how they manage to travel between distant locations is one aspect. एक ऐसी चीज है that has fascinated observers for century. यानी वो exact location पे कैसे पहुंचते हैं without any single mistake. The word is unerringly. Look at the word unerringly. Modern day researchers have attempted to understand this feat. यानी ये इतना बड़ा जो अचीवमेंट है वो समझने के लिए ट्राई किया है. Most studies have found that migratory birds all have some ability to navigate. वो खुद अपना रास्ता ढूंढ सकते हैं. And an innate is another word you can write here. Innate यानी जो शरीर में या बॉडी में जन्मजात होता है. आपके बॉडी में आपके अंदर जन्मजात है. That is an innate drive. Drive का मीनिंग होता है एक इंस्टिंक्ट जो अंदर से आपको पुश करता है आगे बढ़ने के लिए. That is a drive. तो उसके अंदर एक जन्मजात ड्राइव होता है. That is an innate drive to travel in a particular direction. उनको खुद को एक अंदर मैग्नेटिक कंपास रहता है where they have to go. Nocturnal migrants यानी जो रात के पक्षी होते हैं, those species that travel at night. Here meaning is also given here. Those species that travel at night seem to take their navigational clues, यानी navigation करने के लिए जो उनके hints होते हैं, clues होते हैं, जो उनको help करते हैं from the stars. वो किसको देख के चलते हैं? Stars. When the stars are obscured by clouds, यानी जो जब clouds की वजह से ढक जाते हैं, nocturnal migrants जो होते हैं, travelers होते हैं, may become confused. वो confuse हो जाते हैं and return to land. वो जमीन पे आ जाता है या फिर this stray of course यानी वो रास्ता भटक जाता है. Diurnal migrants यानी जो दिन के पंछी होते हैं, those migrating during the day take their clues from the location of the sun, right? Obviously. In addition, diurnal migrants means the travelers have also been shown to use geographic features यानी जगह की जो land की जो qualities होती है such as mountain ranges और sea coast वो ट्रैक करते हैं as other cues for navigation. यानी उनको पता चलता है कि यानी इस साइड पे सी है तो हमें इस डायरेक्शन में जाना है. Because the stars in the sun move constantly over the course यानी वो भी हिलते रहते हैं of 24 hours. This suggests that migrating birds also have some sense of time. यानी उनको समय का भी पता चलता है कि this is night and this is day. And these are all the features that are innate in birds. Are we clear with the whole passage? Knowing the meaning, does it help you understand the passage better? Right? That is why I focus a lot on increasing your vocabulary. So true, false, and not given. So looking at what we learned, just give me your answers. Okay. Trans-equatorial birds cross from one hemisphere to the other when they migrate. एक southern से western, western से northern से southern. What is it? Is it true or false? I have 44 people. We just read it. Here is the answer. Here. Trans-equatorial migration. So what they do? Here, many species are they living in the northern hemisphere during the breeding and then they go to the southern. यानी एक से लेके दूसरे hemisphere को travel करते हैं. Question वही है आपके पास. Trans-equatorial birds cross from one hemisphere to the other when they migrate. True or false? Many migratory birds breed in the southern hemisphere. वो लोग southern hemisphere में migrate करते हैं. What is it given here about breeding? Look at about the breeding. Bird breeding. Almost most of the bird migration takes place between lower. They go into the lower side. So where do they breed here? They go to see living in the northern hemisphere during the breeding season. Breeding में northern side पे जाते हैं और southern में नहीं होता है तब आते हैं. Southern hemisphere. Question आपके पास है. Many birds breed in the southern hemisphere. Very easy. Come on. And why I'm not getting any answer from the online people? Am I audible or કઈ બધા સુતેલા છે, જાગતા છે, સુતેલા છે, શું ચાલતે છે? What is going on? The answer is false. They breed in the northern, and then the remainder of the year they come in the southern. Migrating birds spend the warm months, गर्म महीने जो होते हैं, where conditions for breeding are optimal. ऐसी जगह जाते हैं जहाँ वो warm months वहीं पे जाते हैं जहाँ पे breeding अच्छा रहता है. This is true. Yes. Next, many birds fail in their migration. वो fail हो जाते हैं because they do not have enough body fat to journey to fuel the journey.
True.
So what they've written is एक बर्ड का एग्जांपल दिया है जिसमें हमें बोला गया है कि एक बर्ड है जो इतना ट्रैवल करने के लिए अपने बॉडी में 55% फैट को बचा के लेके उड़ता है, यानी वो थोड़ा मोटा होके जाता है, तो यानी उसके अंदर बॉडी में एनर्जी रहे आगे जाने की. यहाँ पे पूछा गया है कि जब पक्षियों के पास बॉडी फैट नहीं होती है तो वो जर्नी फेल कर देते हैं. योर आंसर इज वी डोंट नो, यानी ये पॉसिबल है बट ऐसा क्लियरली दिया नहीं गया है. सो आंसर इज नॉट गिवन. आर वी क्लियर एवरीवन? मोर. Now look at the following descriptions of migratory habits and match each type of bird with the correct description. Write the correct letter A or B. So अगर दिन का प्राणी है, दिन का पक्षी है, तो it is diurnal species of bird. For that you will write A. Nocturnal species है, then you will write B. So this type of birds, they navigate by looking at the sun. A or B?
A.
Okay, next. They navigate by looking at the stars.
B.
They may stop flying when clouds obscure the sky. यानी cloud की वजह से ढक जाता है.
B.
Yes, it is B. They navigate by looking at landforms. यानी geographical features के लिए word दिया गया है. Geographical features.
A.
So answer is A, right? Are we clear with all the things? Answers here? Okay. So write the words that are new to you, look them up in the dictionary and write their definition. So we learned quite a lot of words. And now let's look at a word family. We are studying the word family. ये word आपको अच्छे से आना चाहिए क्योंकि ये हर जगह पे use होता है commonly हर एक IELTS में. Noun, verb and adjective of the word evolution. Evolution means विकास. कोई body और animal का जो विकसित रूप होना, that is our research plans have gone through many evolutions and are now quite different from our original plans. So that is evolution. Next word is evolve. It is a verb. Scientists believe that birds evolved from dinosaurs. वो उसमें से विकसित हुए हैं. And evolutionary, जो evolution evolve होने की quality रखता है. Through the evolutionary process, birds have developed adaptations that allow them to survive in different environments. The next word family is fascinate. So first word fascination. Is fascination with birds, and uska jo ye fancy hai with birds is not hard to understand because there are several bird watchers in his family. He's crazy, he's fond, he's passionate. Passionate के लिए दूसरा word है fascination. The word is fascinate. It's a verb. यानी कोई चीज आपको बहुत attract करती है, so you're fascinated by it. The study of the living lives of birds fascinates many people. It attracts many people. And fascinating. The study of bird song is a fascinating subject. Fascinating is very interesting. See the word family? Okay, next is migrate. So first is the process, migration, which is a noun. Bird migration generally takes place twice a year in the spring and autumn. उसका नाउन फॉर्म दूसरा भी है, यानी जो पक्षी माइग्रेशन करता है उसको हम बोल सकते हैं माइग्रेंट. अभी यूज किया था. माइग्रेंट इज लाइक अ ट्रैवलर. Migrants stop to rest several times during their journey. वो जर्नी में कई बार आराम करने के लिए रुकते हैं. Verb migrate यानी एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पे जाना. Some birds migrate thousands of miles to reach their summer breeding grounds. क्या करते हैं? वो migrate करते हैं. It's a process. And migratory, जिसके अंदर migrate करने की quality है एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पे, that is called migratory. I don't know what is the Gujarati or Hindi word. There must be a very specific word for it. Do you have anyone? Migratory birds. Any exact word for it? Okay. So scientists study the habits of migratory birds. They are birds which travel from one place to another. Okay.
સર ગુજરાતીમાં સ્થળાંતર કરવું એવું કહી શકાય?
Correct. સ્થળાંતર કરવું એટલે એવા પક્ષીને શું કહેવાશે તમારાથી? સ્થળાંતર પક્ષી?
ખબર નહીં સર, એ તો નહીં આઈડિયા.
Okay.
સર આપણે એક કન્ટ્રીમાંથી બીજી કન્ટ્રીમાં જઈએ તેને બી માઇગ્રેશન કહેવાય ને?
Yes, yes, કહેવાય. So આને કહેવાય સ્થળાંતરી પક્ષી. સ્થળાંતરી પક્ષી. શું કહેવાય ને? સ્થળાંતરી સ્થળ. Okay. Next is navigate. Navigate એટલે શું હતું? આપણે રસ્તો શોધવો, right? So navigation is the process. આપણા કારમાં પણ navigation system હોય. Birds use the sun, stars and landforms for navigation. Next, navigator. Navigatory birds are amazing navigators. જે રસ્તો શોધી આપે. આપણી ગાડીમાં GPS જે હોય, that is a navigator. And what we do is we navigate. Navigate is birds navigate by looking at the sun and stars. And navigational, that is the quality. Migratory birds are born with navigational skills. They don't have to learn them. It is innate. The word here, उनको सीखना नहीं पड़ता है, वो जन्मजात है. तो उसको क्या बोलेंगे? Innate. What is it? Innate. For example, I have friends who are from business families. So business is an innate skill for them. They don't have to learn it. They have it in their blood. I'm talking about Chinta. You also. Right? So that is innate. It is from inside. You don't have to learn it inborn. Next is observe. So observation is the process. Gujarati mein kya avlokan. When you observe to study something, we can learn a great deal about the lives of birds through simple observation. And the person is called observer. If birds become aware of the presence of an observer, they quickly fly away. उनको लगता है कोई उन्हें देख रहा है तो वहां से चले जाते. Observe is the verb. अवलोकन करना. Many people observe birds as a hobby. An observant is a quality. यानी कोई व्यक्ति है जो बहुत अच्छे से लोगों को observe कर सकता है. That person is observant. You have to be really observant to spot most types of words. All right. So here now word practice. Choose the correct word family member from the list below to complete each blank. So we have words here 1 to 5. You have to select what word we will use. Birds are dash to many people. Fascination, fascinate or fascinating to many people. What's
Fascinating.
Yeah, adjective. They are fascinating. Birds are fascinating to many people and bird watching is a popular hobby. The best time to watch birds is in the early morning because birds are usually very active at that time of the day. The dash must keep still. Who? The observation, the observer or the observer? The person. So the observer must keep. और यहाँ पे हम जो बोलते हैं उसमें जो last का जो R है वो silent है. तो it is not observer. It's just verb. The observer must keep still and quiet in order, again, see, order nathi, in order not to frighten the birds away. If you live in a part of the world where dash birds spend their breeding seasons, then you will have the opportunity to see nest building activities. What kind of birds?
Migratory.
Yes, migratory. So you'll have the opportunity to see nest building activity. Over the ages, different species of birds have dash with different types of nest building skills. They have आगे बढ़े हैं, सुधरे हैं वो. They have evolved. Nest building skills. It makes an interesting study to look at the different types of nests built by birds and to watch them as they build their nests. After the breeding season is over, the babies have left the nest. It is time for the birds to head to warmer parts of the world to spend the winter months. Birds dash to their winter feeding grounds using the stars or the sun as their guide. We need a verb here. Birds navigate. वो क्या करते हैं? Navigate, कैसे navigate करते हैं? Navigate to the winter feeding grounds using stars and suns as their guide. Okay. Dictionary skill. So parts of speech. The word imperative can be a noun or an adjective. Read the dictionary definition below, then read the sentences and write the letter of the correct definition for each sentence. Imperative के दो मीनिंग होते हैं. Imperative, what is it? Imperative. Imperative as an adjective means what? Very important and essential. That is what initially when I gave you the rough meaning I said कि बहुत जरूरी है, तो that is imperative. But here it was used as a noun, a priority or an urgent need. So you have to tell me कौन सा वाला use किया गया है, A या फिर B. It is our imperative to. Okay. What was I saying when you guys got disconnected?
So you were reading the first sentence.
Okay. Yeah, so imperative. So one is an adjective, very important and essential. बहुत जरूरी है. So it is an imperative time. And noun is a priority or an urgent need. So you guys decide what is the first one and what is the second one. It is our imperative to protect the natural. So here this is a noun here. It is imperative to keep dogs and cats away from the bird breeding area. ये जरूरी है कि उनको अलग रखा जाए, dogs को पक्षियों से दूर रखा जाए. This is the adjective. Question I got here is, what is the difference between essential and essentially? So simple meaning, essential is the adjective. This is the adj and this is the essentially. Essentially is the adverb. So you use both of them in the similar context, but then you will use it differently. For example, let's say our body needs an energy to survive. So energy is essential for our body, right? Energy is essential for our body. Our body essentially survives on vitamins and proteins. Essentially, importantly, essentially. Okay, are we all back on track, guys? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So get ready for a listening. Listen to the talk. Look at the map below labeled A to E. Look at the list of places and write the correct letter A to E next to numbers 1. The Zoom problem. The PC is new now, so. Exactly. Can you see the map? Okay. Listen to the talk here and label it A, B, C, and D. Right? Entrance and E. You have E here. So species list, restricted area, observation platform, gift box, gift shop, and donation box. So you have A, B, C, D, and E. So you have to find out which place is where. There are 3 points here, and then 2 points are east and E and D. So there are 2 roads here. So you have to find out which thing is where. Listen and answer the questions.
Unit 1, Natural World, Bird Migration. Listen to a tour guide at a bird sanctuary.
Welcome to the National Bird Sanctuary. The Bird Sanctuary provides us with the opportunity to study many aspects of the lives of the migratory birds that pass through here every year. This is a breeding area for many different species, and we'll likely see a number of them on our walk today. On our right, just past the entrance, you'll see a list of all the species that have been observed here. You'll notice several nocturnal species as well as diurnal. They spend the warm months here, but leave in the autumn as they can't endure our cold winters. Okay, take a look at your maps. We're beginning here at the entrance. As we walk through the sanctuary, it's imperative that you not stray off the trail and that you be particularly careful to stay out of the restricted area, all along the trail to the left here. The restricted area protects breeding birds from disturbance. All right then. That trail over to the right leads to the gift shop, but before we head there, let's continue to the end of this trail on the left to the observation platform. Here we are. We can look out over the wetlands from here and observe the water birds. I'll leave you here to observe as long as you like, and I'll meet you afterward at the gift shop. It's at the end of that trail I pointed out to you earlier. Before I leave you, I'd like to remind you that this bird sanctuary was built entirely by volunteer labour and donations. You can imagine what a feat that was and what it takes to maintain it. Please consider giving a donation before you leave. You'll find a box for that purpose along the trail right before you arrive at the gift shop.
Easy or hard?
सही था सर.
Easy था? Here. So what is the first one? Where is the species?
B.
First one is B. Okay. Then
A.
okay. Then
E.
E,
D.
B,
C.
C,
Right. Let's do it once again. So what is B here? Species list. So here, what was it? E is, this one B is species list, right? That is B. Then what is A? Restricted area is A. You can't go here. What is third one? Observation platform. Where is it? E here. Next is C or D. D. What is that? It is the gift shop. And the C here. What is this? So here.
Unit 1, Natural. Listen to a tour guide at a bird sanctuary.
Welcome to the National Bird Sanctuary. The Bird Sanctuary provides us with the opportunity to study many aspects of the lives of the migratory birds that pass through here every year. This is a breeding area for many different species, and we'll likely see a number of them on our walk today. On our right, just past the entrance, you'll see a list of all the species that have been observed here. You'll notice several nocturnal species as well as diurnal. They spend the warm months here, but leave in the autumn as they can't endure our cold winters. Okay, take a look at your maps. We're beginning here at the entrance. As we walk through the sanctuary, it's imperative that you not stray off the trail and that you be particularly careful to stay out of the restricted area, all along the trail to the left here. The restricted area protects breeding birds from disturbance. All right then. That trail over to the right leads to the gift shop, but before we head there, let's continue to the end of this trail on the left to the observation platform. Here we are. We can look out over the wetlands from here and observe the water birds. I'll leave you here to observe as long as you like, and I'll meet you afterward at the gift shop. It's at the end of that trail I pointed out to you earlier. Before I leave you, I'd like to remind you that this bird sanctuary was built entirely by volunteer labour and donations.
So C is donation. Are we all clear? First starting ma jaave. So here only she says C.
Welcome to the National Bird Sanctuary. The Bird Sanctuary provides us with the opportunity to study many aspects of the lives of the migratory birds that pass through here every year. This is a breeding area for many different species, and we'll likely see a number of them on our walk today. On our right, just
On our right. On our right,
Past the entrance,
just past the entrance. Just past the entrance, our side.
you'll see a list of all the species that have
That's a list of species, right? All clear now? Right, and then it starts. Okay, so here we have, let's see some sample writing answers. Look at the chart below shows information about different species of bird observed in Woodchuck County at different times of the year. Summarize the information with 150 words. So here it is. Look at what do we have here. Species of birds observed in Woodchuck County by season. So winter and summer. So very clearly there are only three kind of birds that are there in both the seasons: cardinal, crows, and woodpeckers. Right. Rest of them, the mockingjay, the orioles, the vireoles, and the bluebirds, they are only there in the summer. And talking about here, juncos, that's only here in the winter. Ready for a simple answer here? Let's see a sample answer. And here it is. Look at the chart shows a list of some of the species of birds that can be seen in Woodchuck County in two different seasons, winter and summer. Information is given about 8 different species of birds. 3 of the species listed, cardinals, crows, and woodpeckers, are observed in both summer and winter. That means that they are probably not migratory birds, but live in the region all year. They can tolerate the winter weather in that area. 4 of the species listed, bluebirds, mockingbird, orioles, and vireos, are observed only in the summer. They must be migratory birds that travel to Woodchuck County for the breeding season and spend the winter in another place where the weather is warmer. 1 species of bird, juncos, is seen in Woodchuck County in winter, but not in the summer. Perhaps it migrates farther north in the summer for its breeding season. Okay. So I think we come to an end of today's vocab session, and we'll be doing something else after this. Okay, so that is the end of this vocab session here.